Imagine a game so real that the line between reality and fiction blurs, a game where your worst nightmares come to life. This isn't your typical horror game, no. This is a realm of terror that reaches into the deepest recesses of your psyche, pulling out fears you didn't even know you had. This game, it doesn't just spook you with cheap jump scares. It's the kind of horror that's insidious, creeping into your consciousness slowly, methodically. It's the kind of fear that lingers, that makes you question the shadows in your room long after you've turned off the console. The gameplay? It's terrifyingly realistic. You can feel the chill in the air as you walk through the game's eerie landscapes. You can hear the distant howls of unseen creatures, the crunch of leaves underfoot, the distant clanging of a bell in a forsaken church. The atmosphere is so palpable you can almost taste the dread. You're not just a player in this game, you're an inhabitant of a world that teems with nightmarish horrors. Every decision you make, every path you take, could lead you closer to salvation, or deeper into the heart of darkness. And the characters, they're not your ordinary run-of-the-mill horror tropes. They're complex, they're flawed, they're human. They have their own fears, their own demons to battle. And you're right there with them, fighting for survival in a world that seems hell-bent on your demise. This is not a game for the faint-hearted. It's a game for those who dare to face their fears, for those who seek to explore the unknown, the unexplainable, the unseen. It's a game that doesn't just scare you, it changes you. It makes you question your perception of reality, of what's possible, of what's lurking in the shadows of your own mind. But what if the terror within the game transcends into your reality? As soon as you press start, you're plunged into a world of darkness, where every corner hides an unseen terror. This world is not like those you know from other games. It isn't about quick reflexes or high scores. It's a world that thrives on your fear, your anticipation, your psychological vulnerability. It's a world where the monsters aren't just on the screen, they're in your mind. Now, you might be wondering, how does a game create such an atmosphere of dread? The answer lies in the power of suggestion. The game is a master of psychological horror, using every trick in the book to make your heart race and your palms sweat. It doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. Instead, it builds suspense slowly, steadily, making every shadow a potential threat, every silence a prelude to a scream. Imagine, if you will, wandering through a dark, deserted mansion. The only sounds are your own footsteps echoing off the stone walls and the distant drip, drip, drip of water. The game doesn't tell you what's lurking in the darkness. It doesn't have to. Your own mind fills in the blanks, imagining horrors far worse than anything a game could show you. This is the power of psychological horror. It's not about what you can see, it's about what you can't see. It's about the fear of the unknown, the terror of what might be lurking just out of sight. In this game, the real monster isn't some pixelated beast, it's your own imagination. And as you venture deeper into the game, the terror grows. The lines between reality and nightmare blur. Every creak of a floorboard, every flutter of movement in the corner of your eye becomes a potential threat. The game doesn't just scare you, it gets under your skin. It worms its way into your mind, making you question every shadow, every sound. And as you venture deeper into the game, the terror grows. With every step you take in the game, the line between reality and the virtual world blurs further. As our intrepid player ventures deeper into the game, they encounter an array of unsettling clues that hint at the true nature of the horror that awaits. The chilling whispers that echo through the corridors, the cryptic messages scrawled on the walls, the fleeting shadows that dart around the corner of your eye. All are eerie breadcrumbs that lead further into the labyrinthine mystery. The game masterfully manipulates the player's sense of reality, making them question every move, every decision. The chilling soundtrack, the spectral sound effects, the subtle flickering of the screen. It's as if the game itself is alive, watching, waiting. The player stumbles upon a series of disturbing diary entries, each one more terrifying than the last. They tell a tale of a once joyful world that descended into darkness and despair, of characters that once laughed and loved, now lost to the abyss. The chilling narrative seeps into the player, the words echoing in their mind long after they've put the controller down. Every encounter with the game's grotesque creatures, every brush with the unseen terror, chips away at the player's sanity. The fear isn't just in the monstrous forms that lurk in the shadows, but in the inescapable dread that permeates every pixel of the game. The horror is not just what you see, but what you don't, what you can't. It's the unseen, the unknown, the inexplicable. As the player peels back the layers of the mystery, they're engulfed by a wave of dread. The game isn't just a game anymore. It's a nightmare that has bled into their reality, a chilling tale that has taken root in their mind. The truth, once shrouded in darkness, is slowly coming to light. But with every revelation, the horror grows, the fear swells, the nightmare deepens. But as the truth unravels, the horror becomes more profound. The final level, the climax of your fear, where the game's true horror is revealed. As your virtual footsteps echo through the eerie silence, the atmosphere becomes thick with tension, like a dense fog that threatens to consume you. This is the culmination of your journey, where every decision you've made, every path you've taken, leads to this one moment of reckoning. The level is a labyrinth of shadows and echoes, a maze designed to test your courage. The walls seem to close in around you, trapping you in the chilling embrace of your nightmares. Every corner you turn, every door you open, could reveal the dreadful unknown. Your heart thumps in your chest like a drum, the only sound in this world of silence and darkness. As you delve deeper, the challenges become more terrifying. The monsters you face are a reflection of your deepest fears, grotesque and menacing. They lurk in the shadows, their eyes glowing with malevolence, ready to strike when you least expect it. Your hands tremble on the controls, but you push forward, driven by the desperate need to survive and conquer. The puzzles you encounter are sinister, filled with cryptic symbols and haunting riddles that seem to whisper secrets from the abyss. Solving them is a test of your wit and resolve. Each solution brings you closer to the end, but also closer to the heart of the horror. And then there it is. The final boss, a monstrosity that embodies the essence of the game's terror. It towers over you, a gruesome testament to your fear. The battle is fierce, a dance between life and death. Each attack, each dodge, each moment of triumph or defeat is a step closer to victory or annihilation. And as you land the final blow, as the monster crumbles before you, a strange sense of relief washes over you. But in the deafening silence that follows, a chilling realization dawns. The horror, the fear, the monsters, they were all too real. And as you defeat the final boss, you realize the game was not just a game. As the credits roll, you feel a chill running down your spine. The game is over, but the horror lingers. The virtual world you've been navigating has been a labyrinth of fear, its corners filled with dread, and its shadows echoing with whispers of the unknown. You've been on a journey that not only tested your gaming skills, but also your courage. You started off in a seemingly innocuous world, with pixelated landscapes and 8-bit music. But soon, the unseen terror revealed itself. It was subtle at first, a flicker on the screen, a glitch in the graphics. But then it grew, consuming the game and transforming it into a playground for nightmares. The game began, and with it, the horror. You were thrown into a twisted version of reality, where every corner held a new terror, every level a fresh nightmare. The game was no longer about winning or losing, it was about surviving, about making it through to the next dawn. Then came the unraveling of the mystery. The pieces started to fit together, painting a dark picture of a haunted game, cursed by a vengeful spirit. The clues were there, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. And as you pieced them together, the terror only amplified. At the final level, you faced the embodiment of the unseen terror, a spectral figure cloaked in darkness and brimming with malevolence. Your heart pounded in your chest as you fought, using every trick the game had taught you. And when the screen finally flashed "Game Over," it was with a sigh of relief and a shiver of fear. Now, as the haunting conclusion echoes in your mind, you're left to ponder the experience. You've braved the horrors of the game, but their shadows linger, an eerie reminder of the terror you've faced. The game may be over, but the horror remains. And as the screen fades to black, you're left wondering, was it just a game or something far more sinister?